Welcome viewers. As usual, once again we are with you discussing very important matter. For security professionals, it is more part of their routine, regular functional requirement to get involved in due diligence. They also get involved in background screening, and beside conventional security responsibilities, they are now engaged by the top leadership of their organization for many activities. And these are such activities which can be handled only by the specialist. And as security professional, it is our endeavor to share with you what is being done by our peers, what are the best practices which make security professional good, better, and best. Our motto is, let's professionalize the professionals. With that motto in mind, we bring to you subject expert discussing a very, very important topic which go in enhancing our knowledge and skill. Today, we are very happy to discuss another subject which is of immense importance for us, and that is corporate intelligence, important tool for top management. How this corporate intelligence becomes very important tool for top management for their decision making is being discussed today, right now, with us. And our eminent speaker today is Shivindra Pratap Singh. He is Managing Director of Lensus Network Limited. He is equipped with over 20 years of experience in providing customized risk mitigation solution in South Asia. Shivindra is spearheading Lensus, India's leading intelligence and security risk consulting firm. Welcome, Shivindra. And audience, let me further share about Shivindra. He is Masters in International Security with a specialization in Terrorism, Insurgencies and Intelligence in South Asia from University of Warwick, United Kingdom. And he is also possessing a business degree from University of Sheffield, UK. Shivindra is a founder member of Board of Advisors of Certified Private Insurance Investigators, which in short is known as CPII, India's first industry developed and recognized certification for private investigators working on insurance investigations and related matters. Shivindra is elected member of the Board of Directors of World Association of Detectives. World Association of Detectives is spearheading the professionals in this field. He is also member of International Trademark Association's Anti-counterfeiting Committee for the year 2022-2023. He is member of CAPSI, APDI, and Security Institute of UK, beside other global bodies. He was awarded Young Entrepreneur of the Year, awarded by APDI CAPSI in 2009, and Investigations Personality of the Year award in 2018 by APDI and CAPSI. With him, we will discuss the importance of corporate intelligence. This refers to ability to gather, analyze, and use information collected on competitors, customers, and other market factors that contribute to a business competitive advantage. Welcome, Shivindra. And to start the discussion, I'm sure our viewers would like to know right from the beginning about corporate intelligence, what it is, what are the tools, what are the advantages which management can have, and how to go about it. So time is yours, Shivindra. Take as much time you want. Our audience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Captain Tyagi. Thanks a lot for this fantastic opportunity and for the kind introduction. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for nearly a decade, sir. And I've been observing you ICISS, and all your activities very closely. And every time I interact with you, meet you at any conference or over call, it is a great learning experience for me. So to receive this invite from your end is a true honor for a professional like me who looks up to you and the great body that you've created in the last 10 odd years, sir. So once again, thanks a lot. Thank you. To begin with, sir, I'll just take 2 minutes to give a brief about Lances that I spearhead, and why I'm here talking about this important topic. So Lances has been in business for, this is our 41st year running, and we have a team of 120 pan India. And what we do is primarily we protect the business interests of our clients, and we enable them to take informed corporate decisions. At the core of our firm, we are primarily an intelligence gathering, analyzing, deciphering, and representing organization. And that is where our experience as India's leading corporate intelligence firm enables me to comment on the topic at hand. With that, sir, moving on to to the topic, corporate intelligence, a potent tool for top management. Now, I'll take you back to probably 1980 when our firm was started by my father. And at that point in time, there was no corporate intelligence as a subset of the security profession. Everyone was primarily a private investigator, private detective, and that's how we started our journey. At that point in time, the main focus was some sort of a matrimonial query or some inter-family issues. That is where detectives were primarily utilized. You fast forward around 14 odd years, mid 90s, when India liberalized, a lot of foreign organizations came in, and with that started the corporatization of the security function within an organization here in India. And from mid 2000s onwards, I joined in 2000. From mid 2000 onward, I've seen a very rapid and a progressive demand for corporate intelligence, because what we observed that our Fortune 500 and Indian multinational clients who were operating abroad, they started identifying the practices that they were utilizing there and benefiting from abroad, and started bringing them into the their Indian subsidiaries or Indian organizations. And since then, there's been a quantum leap in the way the corporate world is looking at corporate intelligence and how they utilize it. Over the next few minutes, I just intend to express my thoughts pertaining to corporate intelligence, what it is, what all services are included, and who are the key stakeholders, and how do we add value. So with that, I'll start. To start with a basic definition of what is corporate intelligence. It's a focused collection and analysis of facts, insights, and other information that enables the key decision makers to take informed decisions aimed at protecting their business interests. Now, throughout this discussion, I want all of you, the viewers, to primarily focus on one aspect, which is protection of business interest. Everything that corporate intelligence does, every information that is provided, every solution that is provided, is primarily focused towards protecting of a business interest. It is a gambit of intelligence gathering and due diligence activities with regards to a third party's business, personnel, and other variables as may be pertinent. It enables a corporation, a firm, an organization to be forearmed about relationships and stakeholders. Many a times what happens is on a daily basis, organizations are interfacing with potential clients, potential customers, sources of finance, sources of funds, new opportunities. And how do you take a decision? Now, of course, there is the mathematics involved, demand, supply, where we step in as an organization, how do we add value, how the market in question will accept our products or services. Yes, I mean, that is a core focus of any organization. But where corporate intelligence comes in is that it facilitates the various key decisions. If you have to invest in money in in a location with a partner, bring on a new employee. Uh, as corporate intelligence professionals, our responsibility and role is to forearm the key decision makers about all the nuanced information that can be of any use pertaining to these opportunities. It also enables an organization to identify and be well informed about a risk before it manifests itself into business disruption. So, most of the times organizations, they find themselves, with a big issue that's blown on their face. And unfortunately, they do not have the background, the insight, the knowledge of how to address that. So corporate intelligence enables you to look into the future and say, hey, God willing, everything goes as per plan, everything's hunky-dory. But there are these 4, 5, 6 points of stakeholders that you might want to be informed and interested about. At its core, corporate intelligence enables a more efficient and a risk-aware decision making. And I repeat, it's not risk averse. It is risk aware. We identify the risks for you, and then as the key decision makers, it's up to you. How you want to go ahead with it. Our job is to identify the red flags and provide the key provisions which can enable the organization to deal with these red flags and yet pursue their business. In short, it enables an organization to develop a better understanding of their business environment. So this is the background. This is what in just corporate intelligence is about. And I personally do not feel that corporate intelligence is a one-off activity, as you will see through the discussion. In my opinion, every key decision maker, and specifically the security professionals, for them, corporate intelligence is like a way of life. It is primarily, we're not being suspicious. We are just being aware, risk aware, and we are slightly inquisitive and curious. So if any opportunity comes, we just want to understand a bit more than what your finance professional or an HR professional will ideally do. We take good things on face value, but we try to dig in slightly deeper to understand, hang on, if something goes wrong, what all can go wrong, and how do we manage it or deal with at a point of an issue, a security issue, a business disruption, as and when it comes. So yeah, that's the key mindset, the ethos of corporate intelligence. Now, there are various tools which we utilize to gather this information, analyze it, and present it to our clients or the end users. Of course, verifications, if the information being provided to you, is that information even true? That's a very basic level of, sort of risk mitigation that any organization can do. For example, if you are trying to buy a plot of industrial, land somewhere, and if the sellers are claiming to be the owners, there's a basic due diligence that you ought to do about, is this actually their property? Are the documents being provided? Are they genuine? Is there any litigation going on surrounding this property? Because we have in the past come across some clients who've unfortunately been duped. They've taken things on face value, proceeded, gone ahead, and later on they realize, once a tranche has been transferred or full amount has been transferred, that there are a lot of stakeholders that come up with their side of the story. So verification is, in my opinion, the most basic of tools that can be utilized for conducting corporate intelligence. Second, in today's day and age, is open source intelligence gathering. Your mobile phone is probably equivalent to what a library used to be when I was a student. Now you have access to everything from newspapers to databases to journals to books, everything. And the beauty is, about any topic, it doesn't have to be confined to a specific topic. Tomorrow, if you say, I just want to understand the history of Arunachal Pradesh or Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh, you don't need to go to the library anymore. It's just on your mobile. Everything comes up. So open source intelligence gathering, again, is a very important tool that is available to all, including security professionals, at free of cost. It's something that you don't have to make an extra effort. You probably might have, depending on your operations, the scale, or you can reach out to a service provider and at least have the basic search conducted about the topic at hand. This topic can be a new vendor, a potential dispute that has come out, new employees that you're looking to take on board, a new client. You want to give them some sort of a credit limit. You just want to understand, hang on, what's the reputation of these guys? So this is a basic that can be that ought to be done, in my opinion. Second is paid databases. Sorry, third. Now, paid databases are very specialized databases that have been collated by various agencies across the world, and they at times give you insight about litigation. It can give you insight, and they usually have a much refined version of open source databases, and they make the information and the search much more relevant to the exact topic at hand. Say if I was to punch in Shivindra Pratap Singh, there might be many Shivindra Pratap Singhs who might pop up in your open source intelligence gathering. But when you go for a paid database, now there with the date of birth, probably father's name, it will come up with a very refined search. So a lot of your work that you have to do during open source intelligence gathering is already done by these paid databases, and they have a much more artificial intelligence driven, responsive and effective and efficient interface. Then there is increasingly so need for forensics. By forensics, I mean your computer hard drives and mobile phone forensic analysis. These are being used increasingly in incident-driven investigations, wherein the firm is suspecting one of their own employees, colleagues, to be indulging in some unethical activity, and they want to verify it. Now, mind you, this is not hacking. You are not intruding into someone's privacy. You're only evaluating and analyzing and deciphering what is yours. When I say you, I mean the corporate, the organization who probably you are representing. So you suspect that one of your procurement guys or one of your production colleagues is hand in glove with some particular vendors, and you just want to understand, is there any communication that they might have used their laptops or mobiles for, which can throw some light into the nature of their relationship. And this is where legally you can conduct a forensic analysis of their email inbox, even hard drives, and see what is there. And mind you, this is turning out to be one of the most potent tools, especially when it comes to fraud investigations. Now, moving on the fifth is informed commentary and analysis. So many times what happens, and this is very relevant when it comes to market entry strategies or a product, your product diversification, or you're trying to move into a particular geography, or you're trying to get into relationship with a particular organization. Now, by informed commentary, we mean people who either are subject matter experts, electric vehicles. Now, if your organization is trying to diversify into electric vehicles or something to do with that, as part of corporate intelligence, if there are any questions, one can reach out to subject matter experts of that particular field and try to understand their perspective, because they've been in this business, they've been in this profession, they understand better than probably what a newcomer would. And we have seen this being used very effectively by a lot of our international clients who are trying to make inroads into specific sectors in India. And then it's also important to understand that there can be all sorts of commentaries, that come in. And it is important for a corporate intelligence professional to analyze and decipher that for the end user. Because of course, the end user is short on time, wants a very succinct representation of the information gathered. And this is where, we come in, we get the commentary, put a perspective to it, and analyze and decipher it for the end user. Last but not the least is on-ground intelligence gathering. Now, This is many times used to in a situation where an incident has happened. It could be in your factory premises, in your shop floor, or it could be as part of dispute management, or if you're in litigation, you want to understand what's going on, and you send your corporate intelligence professionals on ground to gather intelligence. Again, I reiterate, legally. We are not here propagating any illegal ways of gathering intelligence. Everything legally, with keeping the right mindset and approach towards this profession. So these are the various tools that I briefly mentioned, which enables a corporate intelligence professional to gather, review, decipher, and then present uh, key information which enables the decision makers to take effective decisions. Moving on now, generally at Lancers, uh, we we've divided these services into three key sections. One is pre-engagement, when you haven't really engaged with the third party. Second is through engagement, when you have engaged with them, you are either partners, employees, vendors, so be it. And third is post engagement, when you have decoupled your relationship and now there is a need of a corporate intelligence solution. So starting with pre engagement. Now again, the first step, the first if you were to ask me, the first point in corporate intelligence we would recommend to any of you viewers who are representing any firms and organization is to conduct a pre-employment screening. Again, I reiterate, it is very important to ensure to block the intruders at the entry gate. And unfortunately, many a times, most of the times, we realize that even the best of organizations, either in haste or due to cost saving measures, or purely because of lack of knowledge and process, do not engage in pre-employment screening. Now, and I won't be exaggerating when I say, in say probably last 10 of our major corporate fraud investigations that we've done, at least 4 times out of 10, our clients don't know the current address of the perpetrator, and he's their employee, and he's been in system or she's been in system for very long, and they just haven't felt the need of conducting an employee background screening exercise. Now many organizations, they do run on trust, and we respect that, but unfortunately, as the environment is evolving, as things are becoming more commercialized, unfortunately, in my 20 odd years of experience, I've seen there was a time when corruption, fraud was looked down upon, and you only, socially it was not acceptable that, okay, this money has been or he's gathered his wealth through undesirable means. Now that was then. Today, unfortunately, what we are seeing is that corruptions become aspirational. Anyone who feels that there is a chance of making a fast buck, they just don't blink an eye and get on with it. So there has been a massive paradigm shift in society at large, where from looking down upon to accepting, acknowledging, and in a way highlighting the corrupt means is just that change has happened, and it's all happened, in my opinion, in the last 20 years. I'll give you my own experience. I bought a watch, an Apple Watch. Unfortunately, I dropped it. The screen broke. I had taken an insurance cover for the watch when I bought it. I reached out to at least 5 service centers, and every single service center told me that, sir, since you have dropped it, you will not get an insurance coverage. But if you tell the story, and beauty is, the story was the same story that all these 5 guys told me across different service centers, that you were walking, talking on your phone. People came, they tried to snatch your phone, you fell on the ground, and as you fell, your watch screen broke. If you give this, reason, you'll get your claim properly, paid immediately. So that is how institutionalized fraud has become in our unfortunately, in at least in urban India's social fabric. So ensure that you are only bringing in the right sort of people who have the right values, right background, and you can do that by conducting a basic employee background screening. Second is executive due diligence. Now, if you are going to bring someone into the upper echelons of your corporation, people who will be responsible for engaging and taking, important decisions, it's very important to just look a bit into their background. If they were wherever they were in the previous organization, what was the conduct? What was the reason they left? Did they have any special relationships with any vendors? Is there any intelligence on the ground saying that there might be, some question marks about the ethics? It's better to have that background understood before you let them in rather than later. Similarly, partner and vendor due diligence. When you bring a partner, a vendor into the organization, you're exposing your organization to them, their firm, their values. And many a times we have come across instances where, if you were to look at from a macro level, the partners and the vendors would look picture perfect. Everything's as per the rules, everything's as desired. But if you dig in slightly deeper, you realize that there are some issues. It could be litigation, it could be family dispute, which might have an impact on your supply chain, or it can be something like tax evasion, which eventually will again come and haunt you, because any disruption at the vendor or a supplier will have an adverse impact on you. So so pre-engagement, that's also something that, and we have seen a big uptick in this in last 5 odd years. The next point is risk mapping of an environment. This is primarily pre-investment, and we see that this being used a lot by organizations who are investing in greenfield projects, where they just want to understand, if I was to create a multi-million dollar factory premises in the middle of nowhere in this point, who will be the key movers and shakers of this environment? Now, this can be your local law enforcement, your politicians, sarpanch level, your NGOs, then all sorts of various stakeholders. You might come under pressure for giving certain contracts to only specified people. And this has happened, and this happens on a very regular basis. And this pressure usually comes from the local politicians, where they want the labor contract to go to a certain party. They want your transport contract to go to a certain party. They want your canteen contracts to go to a certain party. And as a firm, you walk in with a very fair a prism through which you want to get the best for your stakeholders. But suddenly, when you start facing these pressures, it makes it can be stifling at times. And we have seen this not so far away from Delhi, where one of our clients was the operations got disrupted because of this. Besides this, there is market entry insight, and this is very relevant for foreign clients and MNCs who are getting into India. Now, for them, India, probably sitting in DC or London, is a very ripe market. It is where 1.4 billion people are there, and it's a huge opportunity for a lot of these entrepreneurs and enterprises. Now, how will their product or services being perceived here, as and when they make the move, is an important question, and that is where a lot of times we add value by sensitizing them about the ground realities, about the legal repercussions, about depending on the industry, difference from one state to the other. And this is unfortunately not a lot of our clients get a shock when they hear about the various laws and regulations that are across the country prevalent here. And last but not the least is know your customer. And we all, through our relationships with banking and insurance, now realize that it's very important for everyone to engage when we're engaging with a new customer, just to be sure, just to go through their procurement process and see that they tick the basics and things are the basics are in place. So this is the pre-engagement phase where we are still to get into a relationship with an individual or an organization. These are the various corporate intelligence exercises that we usually propose to our clients. Now, through engagement, when you have brought someone in, and this is by in I mean that they are part of your immediate operating environment through be it employees, be it vendors, be it clients, whosoever. Now, here we feel, and increasingly we see that corporate intelligence is being brought in first and foremost for internal investigations. Now, this whole concept of internal investigations, as probably a lot of you would might agree with me, was sort of an alien affair 15 to 20 years ago. There would be investigations, but to a very lesser extent. Today, fortunately, the compliance environment is such that many a times organizations of a certain stature cannot avoid but have to conduct these investigations. And a lot of these investigations are driven by whistleblowers, where someone has an insight which they want to share with an organization, and primarily these are to do with either internal fraud or bribery or conflict of interest and related party investigations. So these are three sort of, I would say, generators of internal investigations that we have seen, where whistleblowers, they send at times very detailed information pertaining to a particular, it can be a transaction, it can be conduct of a particular department, it can be conduct of one individual within that department. And I am seeing increasingly organizations are acknowledging this. They are sort of creating or installing whistleblower mechanism. They are going on to propagate the mechanism, ensuring that there is general awareness in their environment. And this is a massive opportunity for corporate intelligence professionals, because it means more effective work for the fraternity at large. Then there are internal investigations which are driven by an incident that has happened. Now, this can be your industrial relations related incident. It can be an incident of theft. It can be undue pressure that an organization is facing due to activism. And the key decision makers, they just need to be sure what to do next. Now, if there is an NGO standing outside your entry gates and creating commotion, what exactly is going on? Who are they? What do they want? What is their background? Where are they coming from? And what is their actual motivation? Is this something of a sort of a hostile corporate disruption activity going on? Or is this genuine and is this an honest demand that they have? So this is where a lot of times corporate intelligence professionals come and add value. Then there is situational awareness and insight. Many times, the key decision makers, they just want to. I mean, we've been reached out, and the CEO tells us, I have a hunch there is something off in that particular shop floor. Now, what it is, he doesn't know. Who's informed him? He's not willing to reveal. But he just feels there is something is off. Similarly, we've heard that the particular office in, say, that city, it's too good to be true. I mean, every time something is not right, and this is where corporate intelligence professionals go in and try to find what exactly is going on the ground, and this is many a times done by undercover operations, which are approved, initiated, and supported by the management itself. And mind you, this turns out to be, in my opinion, probably the most effective service that a lot of us provide to our clients. Because once a guy goes in and he starts reporting information from your own shop floor, then you might think, you might have installed him thinking problem is A. But by the time he comes out, after a good 3-4 month period, he has exposed you to so many more things that are happening on the shop floor that you were not even aware of. So it is a very potent tool and has to be used very, very carefully. Now, through engagement, again, there is supply chain sanctity. Now, this in itself is a massive topic, and a proper session can be done purely on supply chain sanctity. And this has as logistics and e-commerce is spreading across India, this problem is becoming even more, I would say, relevant, grave, and needs a lot of thought to go behind it. Just imagine today, the top e-commerce companies are delivering to nearly every single pin code, and this all has happened in the last 5 years. Now, all of us, I'm assuming the viewers, nearly everyone's used one of the e-commerce websites for procuring any products, and now we take it for granted, especially after the lockdown. But if you go back in time, even 5 years ago, they were not as effective and efficient as they are today, and the coverage was probably not as effective and efficient as it is today. Now, as a result, what's happening in the zeal to cover every single postal code of the country, the logistics are being exposed, the supply chain is being exposed to pretty much every part of the country. Now, so this is something that we need to be prepared for, the supply chain sanctity part, and this is where the risk mapping analysis and awareness comes at a very handy for the decision makers.
Shivindra, anything worth speaking has already been spoken about by you. You have covered entire spectrum of activities under competitive intelligence. There was one expert commenting that if you need competitive intelligence, be sure that someone needs competitive intelligence about you also. So it is both way, because if you feel that you actually need information about your competitors, then they are also out in the field and searching for your information, which they can utilize, leverage for their own benefits. So competitive intelligence is both way. You want it, and others also want about you, your so much business information. Yeah, you were saying something.
Yes, sir. So from our perspective, I want to confine this discussion to corporate intelligence, which is looking inwards, because competitive intelligence, which is a subset of corporate intelligence, is again a vast subject in its own. But here, I want to address what is a very basic exercise from a. Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yeah,
So
please go
can you
ahead.
hear me? Yeah. So my focus here right now, sir, is to just talk primarily about corporate intelligence, which is utilized inwards, where we are not looking at someone else. We are only looking at our stakeholders and our processes to ensure that we secure our business interests. And this is where the discussion, the brief that I've given so far, that is what I wanted to basically communicate. Now, if you give me literally 5 more minutes, sir, I just want to finish one more aspect of it. May I?
Please go ahead.
So the last phase, sir, is post-engagement, where corporate intelligence comes in primarily to secure the business interest in the event of disputes and litigation. And this is where a lot of times the professionals are asked to gather intelligence, to identify and assist at times in recovering of assets, and many a times try to protect an organization from a hostile takeover bid or any business disruption. So these are the various services that or processes in your. It can be a process internally being conducted by a big multinational, where corporate intelligence is used to protect business interests. So over to you, sir.
So, Shivindra, the question which has come here, I cannot share it because it is not on YouTube Live platform. It came through WhatsApp. The question was that as security professional, why should I know about competitive intelligence? Because there are agencies providing specialized services. So as security professional, this particular gentleman is not very keen to learn new skill.
Right, sir. Right. So I'm glad this
So
question came up.
that gladdens your heart.
Right, sir, right. So I'm glad this question came up because one of the points that I wanted to highlight as part of this discussion was that, so way back in, said, and probably you know better than me, sir, 20 years ago, when I had started in this field, most of our customers and clients from a client end were security chiefs. They would be the ones who would initiate an investigation, initiate a research, initiate a due diligence. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, uh, the stakeholders or the users of corporate intelligence within a firm, within an organization, have increased. Now it's the security department, it is the admin department, it is the human resources, legal increasingly, compliance, internal audit, and C-suite. So, as a service provider, 20 years ago, we were primarily being, commissioned by the security heads. Now we are being commissioned by a plethora of stakeholders. Now, uh, the gentleman who's asked the question is absolutely right. A way of looking at it is that, hey, I mean, if there is someone who is handling it within the organization, I don't really need to be involved, which is absolutely fine. But another sort of prism to view this through is that uh, end of the day, this is all about protecting business interests. And that is exactly what the security does. Within an organization, if there is anyone who has the right skill set or the basic skill sets to be initiating, analyzing, deciphering an investigation or intelligence, so naturally it is the security staff, because either through our training or our experience, most of us have been exposed to investigations, as over the years. So it
Yeah.
is up to you, as a security chief or a budding security professional, whether you want to diversify your portfolio within the organization, because of course with diversification comes potential for growth and potential to head a much larger team, and all of that. Or if you do not want to, then also that's also absolutely fine. I mean, that's to each their own, their prerogatives.
Yeah, Shivindra, you have responded very well, but then in later vein, I want to respond to my friend security professional. You go to the restaurant, and if you are ordering for them yourself, you know what you like and you can order. But when you are ordering for your boss or your lover, you need a menu card, because you need to know what is the range. And as security professional, even when they are professional agencies who will very happily deliver the services, as security professional, firstly you need to know what are your objectives, what are the deliverables you expect from professional agencies. Second thing, you must know the processes and what processes they go through. And you also need to appreciate here that everyone in this field would work ethically, and they will gather the information from legitimate processes. They will not do something which can be categorized as spying, or which is called as business espionage, because that gives the connotation as if something illegal is being done. So ethically, when legally you can obtain the information, that is the information which they will gather. Thirdly, when you know that so much of information, might as well collect yourself as security professional, because it doesn't take much time. but to make very intelligent interpretation after collating the whole lot of information which you have mentioned in the process. So collating the information and making intelligent interpretation is left to specialist. But again, you must know what are your expectation and what is possibly which can be delivered to you. So asking for moon is just not on, but then yes, you can ask for moon dust that is easily available thanks to NASA. So that is so much of competitive intelligence, and that will remain an area where security professional must know, if not in detail, at least at elementary level, because you are the one who are going to set the objective of your organization. You are the one who are going to give advice to your management. And if you are lacking in some field, so far as information of this subject is concerned, then probably as security professional, you would not look very bright, shiny, and promising in eyes of your management, and that directly impacts your career progression. So we are already 46 minutes into discussion, but Shivindra, you have very comprehensively covered the entire subject so well that barring these two interventions, there was no need, and I kept on learning from you. And I sincerely hope that our viewers, our members, will also benefit from this discussion. Such discussions are directly recorded and placed on YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel. Link is already given in description box. Link was shared before we started the discussion on social media. So it is not very difficult to subscribe. We have lineup, big lineup, at least till February end. Very topical discussion, very important discussion, very, very appropriate for security and safety professionals. Shivendra, would you like to make your closing comment?
Certainly, sir. Certainly. So once again, so thanks a lot for the opportunity. Now, again, going back to the query that came, that why should we be bothered about corporate intelligence? Mind you, 20 years ago, the security professionals, security chiefs, security heads did not have the option of having this plethora of processes under their belt. Now, as things have moved, and as Indian economy is professionalizing itself, and as Indian conglomerates are venturing abroad, it is a great, I would say, cracker of an opportunity for any budding security professional to educate themselves through relevant courses, and there are a lot, which are available, and ensure that they try and learn as much as they can about corporate intelligence, because this will only complement their key skill sets as a security professional. Uh, that's all, sir. That's all I would like to say. Once again, sir, thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you, Shivendra. It has been singular privilege and immense pleasure to invite you for this discussion, and our viewers, I am very sure, are benefited by your in-depth study and sharing the contents in very plain, simple language, easy to understand. I look forward for future interactions with you on different subject, maybe some other time, and we remain focused in professionalizing the professionals. Viewers, please subscribe to our channel. We regularly bring discussions of professional importance. Next discussion is again coming week. We will have discussion on hospitality security, followed by hospital security. And then again, we will have overview of security profession as such, how to enrich our professional career. Again, very important for career progression. Remain clued in. Join next discussion. Till then, let me have this opportunity to share Happy New Year. May you remain very happy, healthy, and prosperous with your family and friends. Bye bye for now.